Hi, my name is Ifeoma, and today we're going to be talking about the NSAS protest and what happened there, and to be honest, what I feel should happen going forward. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click on the notification bell so that you can be notified when I release new videos. I want to first apologize for taking a hiatus because I just felt I wasn't in the mindset of being able to create more videos on this channel, Can We Talk? But I'm thinking now that I'm now in a good place and I can continue to try and make videos every week concerning topics that I'm passionate about and I feel will be valuable to people that are going to watch the videos. So the NSAS protest is something that is very dear to me because I am Nigerian, and I feel like I need to give my opinion on it. Please don't get me wrong. What I'm going to say in this video is nothing but my own opinion. You can go over and read everything about it in order to be able to formulate yours. But it is good to be able to get a wide perspective of like what happened at the protest, how people were killed, and what I even think people should do going forward, because there's a lot of tribe and there's a lot of helplessness, almost a sense of what can I really do in order to make sure that police brutality is a thing of the past. In order to get context, you need to understand what NSAS even really is. SARS is a special division of the police that was instituted in order to fight anti-robbery, kidnapping, cattle rattling, and violent crimes. Basically, that was why that division was created. But unfortunately, it has turned into something completely different. I don't know whether it's the case of maybe Nigeria became all of a sudden so calm that they've now decided they have better use of their time and they've now resorted to extorting and harassing Nigerian citizens instead of going after the armed robbers and the violent criminals that they're supposed to be going about looking for. They started profiling young people. If you had dreadlocks or you had a phone or you had a computer, they could randomly just stop you and then search you. And if they found anything remotely having to do with like maybe something international, they just concluded you were probably a Yahoo boy. And they would take you and try and see how much money you have in your account to be able to extort money from you. So a lot of people have been calling for SARS to be disbanded since, if I remember correctly, 2017. It trended then. Every year they'll come out and they'll say, oh yes, we're going to disband SARS, which they've not done. The receipts are there on Twitter. If you go back as far back as 2016, 2017, every year they will announce, oh, we're going to disband SARS. And the next year they'll do something outrageous again and they'll come out and then say we're going to disband SARS. So it's been a cycle and people are just like, you know what? Enough is enough. We can't continue like this. Like, what the hell is going on? One of the things that prompted the protest to even start was a video that went viral on Twitter and I think on Instagram as well, where the SARS police people threw a guy out of his own car and actually drove off. There was another video that came out where they dragged two boys out of a hotel and they shot them dead right there and then without no justice. They didn't charge them to God. They didn't do any investigation. They just dragged them and killed them just like that with no recourse or repercussion. Of course, people just saw that can't happen. How can the police that is supposed to protect lives and property now take laws into their hands and begin to shoot people dead on the street without no repercussion whatsoever? And that's why people said no, enough is enough. People like Wrongtown and Falls came out and said, we are going to write a letter and also protest. We're going to take a letter to the IG of police, I think in Lagos, saying that police brutality cannot continue. How can you continue to kill young people? And that's the bad thing. They weren't even going after the politicians that are supposed to be corrupt. No, they were going after young minds that are supposed to be the future of tomorrow and killing them and ending their dreams. That is totally unacceptable. So that's how the whole protest started, and then the police, as usual, came out and said, oh, we're going to disband SARS, which they did. But unfortunately, because they have a track record of saying things they don't actually follow through and do, people did not take them seriously, and then they came out with these 5 for 5. And the points that they made in the demands for how will I put it? There was a demand that was hashtag 5 for 5, and it was just basically 5 guidelines that we would like to see if they were really serious about ending police brutality. And it was interesting because it even included things like increasing the pay of police people, which is a good thing for the police. The police is supposed to be happy that we're now taking their pay as one of our demands and saying, oh, a sergeant, like the lowest police officer, is earning less than like 50,000 naira a month, and he probably has a family of 7 to feed. How is that even going to help him feed his family? So a lot of people understood sometimes why they would resort to extorting money from humble civilians, because they were being underpaid. And the people now said, okay, you know what, we will fight for you. But unfortunately, I feel like the government thought like, we've increased the police salary like they claimed they did 2 years ago. And I'm like, how could you have said you increased it and somebody's still earning 50,000? You need to be real here. A senator that probably has a school certificate is going to go into the house and is earning like 30 million in a month. By the time you calculate all his allowance, he's even earning way more. Our legislation is one of the most expensive in the world. Think about that. We're third world countries. We are in debt up to here, and then we're overpaying our legislators to do what? Just sit down and sleep. We've seen the videos now of our legislators in the house. Instead of them passing laws that are going to be meaningful to the average Nigerian, they're there just passing away the time and just sleeping in their seat. That is disgraceful. But let's put that aside. They came out and said, okay, we've disbanded SARS, and now we're going to constitute what is now going to be known as SWAT, which is like special tactical. I can't even be bothered to remember what SWAT is supposed to mean, but we all know it's same of the same, and we don't want that. And that is what Nigerians said. We would not allow this police brutality to continue. And I like that. I like that they did it. At some point, I'm not going to lie, I'll be very, very honest and transparent. At some point, I myself, when they said, oh, we're going to disband SARS, I thought, okay, since they're doing that, maybe we should stop the protest. The reason being that we also want to give government the benefit of the doubt. If they say something, let us at least now stop the protest and then see if they will do it. If they don't do it, then we give them a deadline and say, okay, well, if by this time you are not unable to do all the things you said you will do, we will start our protest again. And I feel like that is where the protest went wrong. I remember when a judicial committee was supposed to be constituted in order to look into police brutality, and the Lagos State said to the protesters, who is your leader? Who is going to represent you? I was so sad that they said, oh, we don't have a leader, because right there and there, it just showed what later became the problem. You can't say that you're doing an honorable protest, which is standing up for something, and you don't have a leader. Because what then happens is that everybody becomes a leader and they will start doing their own thing, which is eventually what happened. The hoodlums, the so-called hoodlums, were part of the protesters. Let's be honest. They were there. We saw the pictures. We saw the videos. They were part of the people protesting because they knew that it also affected them. But because we didn't have a leader, no one came out to say that, you know what? At this time, especially when the military now announced they were going to do Operation Smile, which, hilarious though, what a coincidence. It was now that the protest was having an effect that they were doing Operation Smile. But that's okay, they can do whatever they want. But at that point, I wish the EndSARS protest had a leader, because the leader would have started thinking up strategies to which they can continue to have the protest in a way that is obvious to that we were going to continue to do what we're doing while we also allowed the government to carry out their plans, whatever it is. I feel like what gave the government the opportunity to send the military into the streets was because they saw that the protest wasn't dying. There was organization this time. People were raising money. People were providing meals for everyone that came to protest. These are things that have not even happened in the history of Nigeria, I would say that, because I've never, maybe because I'm young and I've never seen this happen in my lifetime, but we all came together for a common cause, and it gave me hope. If we, the youth, can come together and protest the way we did, it means that Nigeria is really about to experience something phenomenal. So for the fact that the youth were actually able to come together and do a peaceful protest that was very well funded, and people were getting meals, people were getting all manner of things. I heard of stories where there was a woman that came to sell groundnut and they raised over 2 million for her in a day. That is phenomenal. There was another protester in Abuja that came to protest with her crutches. She didn't have a limb, and more than enough money was raised for her to be able to get a prostate leg. That showed that we had come together and we were willing to do whatever it takes in order to get a better Nigeria, which is not too much to ask our leaders, if we want to be honest. But because we didn't have a leader, they took advantage of that. They now said, okay, we've asked them to come to the table, and they said no because they don't have a leader. We will send the military into the streets because they always know. I don't know why it's almost like a script that all African governments always do. When people are trying to stand for something, the next thing they do is try to intimidate them and create fear by sending the military into the streets. Unfortunately, as we all remember, on the 20th of October 2020, the military went to the protest site, and in shooting into the air for the benefit of the doubt, some lives were lost, which, to be honest, there was no reason why those people died. These were just Nigerians that were protesting their government and saying that we want police brutality to end. And instead of their government listening to them and making sure that they protect them, they then send military into the streets. It's so sad. It's really sad. But for those of you that are helpless, or since that day felt like there was their voice, like everything that we did or everything that we worked for up until that point was all of a sudden lost, I want to bring hope to you. It is not lost, because if we want to be honest, one of the greatest things that has come out of the protest is that now the youth have been able to see how much power they do have. And if we can focus our energies and our power in 2023, the future will indeed be ours. We should go forward and vote out all these guys that have been there since 1960. Come on. You guys came in as youths, but you have now decided that that is your father's house and you will no longer leave. We, the youth, should not allow that to go on. Come 2023, we should also stand for office. I don't know why a lot of the times I don't know what it is, but we feel like we're not enough. I am saying to you, you are enough. You are what Nigeria needs. We're tired of these old ideas. People that don't even know how to use their phones. They don't understand technology. They imagine that they were trying to raise money, and instead of them focusing on the issue, the CBN, instead of trying to focus on our foreign exchange crisis, was trying to disable the links so that people are not able to contribute to the cause. But you saw how people went and started donating in bitcoins. That shows you that these guys still think they're operating in the 1950s. They don't know that we're in the 21st century, and it's almost, we're seeing technology almost double every 2-3 years, which is phenomenal in itself. Very soon we'll have driverless cars. And then there's one man that is like 60 that is still trying to govern as if Nigeria is in the 60s. We're not going to allow that to continue to happen. So in all of this, I want you guys to have faith. There is hope. we will get the new Nigeria that we deserve. Enough is enough to bad governance. We're not going to have that come 2023. And somebody on, I can't remember, I think it was on Instagram, said it. He said it best, that there are two things that we need to do if we know that we want to be able to achieve the goals that we set out in protesting in the first place. One, we need to make sure that we incorporate the youths that have been left behind. One of the reasons why that protest was successful is because there were the so-called elite who then came out and said, okay, we'll own this. They were the ones that did all the organizations, they were the ones that did all the fundraising, they were the ones that did all the disbursing of funds. But let's not forget the other side of the youth, who are the so-called hoodlums that eventually went into the streets and were destroying lives and property once there was breakdown in security. Let's not forget those people. They're just like us. It's just that every time these same people that the politicians go to and give them not even up to 5,000, they give them peanuts, they give them rice, they give them 1,000 naira and tell them to cast their vote. And because they're so hungry, they will do it, because they're like, it's only someone that is alive that tomorrow that is going to be able to vote anyway. So he's going to take their money and then vote for them. But what he doesn't realize that in doing that, he's sabotaging his future. So we need to come together and incorporate those people. We have to find ways, youth initiatives. In the way that those guys have raised those funds, we need to now continue to mop up our monies together. Let's say, okay, if you're a youth and you have work, you know what you're doing, you're able to contribute in order to make sure that everybody is doing well. We need to start doing that. That way, come 2023, when those politicians come with their bag of rice and their 2,000 naira to these same hoodlums or youths, as we would call them, they will say, no, Oga, take your bag and go. Take your money and go. Enough is enough. I am no longer hungry. I am no longer in that state that you thought you left me 4 years ago, where you gave me rice and you gave me 2,000 naira to come and take my vote. I am no longer going to sell myself short. I am no longer selling my vote. That is what needs to happen. Another thing that needs to happen is the Constitution. I like the fact that we can now see that the Nigerian Constitution as it is needs to change. And the reason being that, let's not forget that that Constitution was actually written by a military person who then handed over to a civilian. And it was also written to make sure that all these people that are in power continue to enjoy the profits of the nation even though they have left power. So that Constitution needs to change. I believe that if we're able to do all these things, come 2023, we'll take our power back. And then we can build the Nigeria that we want to see. I hope with all of these things I've said, you're able to have hope that the new Nigeria that we want, it is coming. Make no mistake, it is coming. They can only try, but they won't succeed, because things cannot continue the way it is. So if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, and I promise I will do more to try as much as possible to bring sensitive topics like this to the forefront. I'll give my opinion, like I said, it's nothing but my opinion, but I know that there are a few people that have been able to have hope as a result of some of the things I've said today. And if you're such a person, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and click on the notification bell so that you can be updated whenever I release new videos like this in the future.
Please, who is the leader?
All of us are leaders.
There's no specific leader, but whatever it is that you want to see, do it first.
I'm shooting from, I think, their barracks or something. See, they come for the war. They come for the war. Put your head down, everybody head down. The child of the president and the child of the policeman should have equal rights in this country.